Give us a few minutes. It looks like it might be setting up everything from scratch, but that's fine. It's been a long time. YouTube has also forgotten me, just like I have forgotten YouTube. Okay, we are on. So, hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome to whoever I have not said hello to, Snehal and Hutokshi and Deepika. I think I said hellos, but hello nevertheless. All right, hello, everybody, and it's good to be back after a long time. Let's dive right into the session. It's been a long time coming, this session that we decided to, the topic being, how all do we measure happiness? How all do we measure how happy we are being? And the topic came around in a very cute way. This topic actually came a few weeks ago, and it was the time when there was a lot of news everywhere about all the festivities and the celebrations that were happening in Jamnagar. The Ambani's son getting engaged or pre-engagement, whatever. And that is the time when this topic came about, because many people, this was a topic of conversation in many groups and many places. And people would always ask me, like, what is my view? We being in a third world country, do you think this kind of money should be spent? And I was like, money is money. No matter what they spend, it's their money, belongs to them right now, and it's for their enjoyment. And then somebody said, oh, but it's putting me in lack because I don't have that kind of money to go out and enjoy. I don't have that kind of money. So, I can never do the stuff that they're doing. And so I'm feeling the lack of not being able to live a full life. And that's where this entire topic of how all do we measure our happiness, that's where the topic came through. And it's an economics concept as well, but I'm going to bring that in the middle today for some obvious reasons, that it'll help us kind of understand where money sits. So it's very well known that when we have no money, and let us say we make our first salary, we work at a place for the very first time and we make our first salary. The kind of salary doesn't matter, but whatever we buy from our first salary. If any of us have worked, you will know what you bought from your first salary. It could have been just 200 rupees of a salary, but you will remember with great joy. And then you felt so proud and so joyful of having made that money. And then whatever you bought from it, you will remember. The kind of joy that salary gave to you, that first salary, would have been something really, really amazing. I remember mine. And so of course, I'm sure that each of us, when we go back and we think about what we did with our first salary, it'll come back to us like that. What did we do with our fourth one or the fifth one or the 100th one? Does anybody remember? 6 years ago, where did you spend your salary on of that particular month? Do you remember? No, you don't. You might have made even a lot more, but you don't remember what you made from that salary. That joy that you got from that first one. If you're very, very hungry and I give you a gulab jamun to eat, that first gulab jamun you will really enjoy. The second one you will still very much enjoy. The third one, fourth one. But by the time you get to the 20th one, are you going to have the same kind of enjoyment that you had on the first one as on the 20th one? By now, your systems might be saying, no, I'm done, cannot eat anymore. I am so done with this. Stop giving me any more gulab jamuns. I don't know what to do with so many gulab jamuns. Anyways, the point of this being exactly this, to start off, to kick off that, in how many different ways do we measure our happiness? The first time something happens, the first time we experience something which gives us joy, that joy is most likely the most. It's the most joy. The first time we fall in love, the first time we do something, the first time we get to eat ice cream, that joy, even if we don't know how old we were. But I know that we would have felt really, really joyful at having experienced something for the very first time. The 100th time, we might still get joy, but joy, finds its way of distributing itself in so many other things. Why? Because this joy is external. This is on something. This is from something. Whether it is, when you had your first child, if you're a mother or a father and you had your first child, that joy, of course, you would have had the same joy at your fifth child as well. But the first time that you became a parent, that joy would be not comparable to anything else in the world. That joy of having become the parent for the first time. Well, that's assuming that you wanted to be a parent, then you would have joy. All right. So the point over here being that when we are out there feeling happy about something, but that thing exists outside of us. That thing exists outside of us. And now we are trying to, okay, how can we get more happiness out of this? How can we measure this happiness that we are feeling? Because it is outside of us, you will find it a slope downwards. You will find it a slope downwards because you've pinned your happiness on something that's outside. Whenever we want to measure something, for example, this person who said to me, now they're experiencing lack because they can't do all the things that the Ambanis are doing. Look at them when they made their first, big plan of something and experiencing the spending of money, whenever that was, they would have felt so much joy. But now that they are doing it, I'm looking at the pre-wedding celebrations and I'm saying, even when us mortals get married, so much of the stuff that we do is out of, norms. It is a social norm to call all our friends, to not leave anybody, to call relatives. Now, whether 500 relatives come or whether 5,000 relatives come, is it actually going to make us feel happier that, oh, now my 5,000 relatives are coming or my 5,000 friends are coming instead of 20? Is it actually going to impact your happiness? Most of it is so much about, keeping the norms, or it's obligatory. It's obligatory to conduct such large events because you are a somebody. Because you're a somebody. And then, even if you don't conduct that event with 5,000 people, you only conduct it with 500 people. Is it going to bring you any less joy? The joy is, hopefully, the joy is in the marriage, in the two people who are wanting to marry for love. And that's where the joy is. And it doesn't matter how much money is being spent on the outside, how many people in the world are being called. It's not going to make a difference to the joy. As a matter of fact, I remember some time ago hearing an interview, and this was by the father, Mukesh Ambani. I remember reading about it or listening to it or something, and somebody was asking him, which is your favorite travel destination? Which is your favorite travel destination in the entire world that you can go anywhere and have such a great time traveling to any place? Which is your favorite destination? And the man responded, wherever we are all together. Wherever we are all together, that's my favorite destination. So look, all of the money spent in having a dream destination, going out there and picking up a dream destination. But when you actually ask that person what gives him most joy, it's to have the entire family, the people that he loves, having them around, having them together. Even so, as we say over here, the eyes are outside. And if somebody is missing from the family, then the joy will be less complete. The joy will be felt lesser than when everybody around that you love is around you. Now, when we come to the energy perspective of things and we begin to understand that when we are looking outside at joy and trying to measure, we are comparing ourselves to somebody and we are trying to measure. And this is our This is our thought process, that because they have more in terms of physical assets or in terms of money or in terms of facilities, because they have more, their joy is more. And this is where we are looking at the outside and coming into the frequency of lack as we begin to measure and to compare. Whenever we are going to compare with anything on the outside, there is one frequency at play. We've discussed this many times before, even we have that separate webinar called Comparisons, Making Comparisons, or some such thing like that. But again, the frequency underneath comparisons is always lack. Because even if today, let us say you compare yourself to somebody and you say, I have so much more than them, and you're still making that comparison, for sure that 360 degrees is bound to complete, and you're bound to find somebody on the outside who has more than you. Even if you find somebody who has less than you, you're bound to find somebody who has more than you, because this less and more, this comparison itself is coming from the place of not recognizing that everything is simply a frequency. All of it. So when you feel lack looking at somebody spending more money, it's got nothing to do with going out and making more money. Even if you made the 100 salary, I'm already telling you, the first time that you made the salary is still going to have, would still have given you the maximum joy. No matter what you spent it on, even if you ate only golgappas out of it, those golgappas would have been the most tastiest golgappas on planet, because you spent it, you spent your first salary buying those golgappas. So when on the outside, and we're trying to measure that now, again and again, I remind you, when you're like, oh, if I had more money, I would have more masti. That's how you measure your masti, that my masti is actually being curtailed. It's being brought down because I don't have the money to spend on things. And I always remind you, most of us, when we were in college and we were totally running broke at all times, and we were with friends and desperately trying to pool in some money so that everybody could go out and have a treat, of some kind or the other. With zero or very little money, we had the most fun. We had the most laughter. We had the most masti, when we really didn't have so much in terms of how much money I'm going to have. Maybe somebody else had more money, but still they were also sharing it. They were sharing it with us, and we were all going out together and enjoying the company, enjoying the laughter, enjoying the silly stuff that we were doing. It has nothing to do with money, the frequency of enjoyment. Today, when you begin to understand that everything is actually just a frequency, your happiness, no matter what it is on. I mean, I would keep giving you examples and examples. So you think that you would have millions and millions of dollars. Would your happiness be more at those millions of dollars versus, let us say, a mother, or a new mother who's been waiting to have a child for 20 years? And after 20 years, she becomes a mother, and she's finally a mother. She's looking at being whole and complete. Would that happiness be the same as your $1 million happiness? Probably yes. But this one is getting it without money. This one is getting it because there was a wish that was alive for 20 years, and it has been fulfilled. And in that moment, here's the wonderful part. In that moment, there will be happiness bursting out. However, just because in that moment there is happiness, that same child who's given so much happiness, can there be a guarantee that that child will keep producing only happiness and no other emotion? No other emotion, even if it was, the gift of God and all of that stuff. That child is simply merely an actor to you and is going to produce for you a whole gamut of emotions. But yes, in that one moment where you acknowledge that your wish has been fulfilled, in that one moment, from the fulfillment of the wish, you are going to tune into amazing amounts of happiness. And then when you begin to recognize that happiness is just only a frequency. Do I really need all my wishes fulfilled for me to be happy? Do I really mean that unless all my wishes are fulfilled, or this is my dying wish, and if I don't get this, I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to enjoy my life because my wish, my one wish, has not been fulfilled. When we begin to understand happiness is just a frequency, it then only is up to us to choose that frequency. And we can do that with so much ease and grace because we know that no matter what we are sitting in today, even if we are sitting in lack, even if we are sitting in disappointment, even if we are sitting in regret, no matter what frequency we are sitting in, the amazing answer is even that is just a frequency. So the whole play is just of frequencies. And so each time when the finger goes outside and we begin to measure our happiness, we begin to measure our emotions by a comparison from the outside. The only place to bring back the finger is to ourselves to say, what energy am I sitting in right now? To constantly remind, and this is not that it's not going to happen. You know, I've mentioned this many a times for that matter, that when I went to Coimbatore and I saw Sadhguru's beautiful Shiva out there in this amazing, amazing space. And then I looked at it and it was so beautiful. And I got so much peace and calm just looking at that Shiva. And the very next moment, there was the comparison. And I was like, okay, when are we going to have such a beautiful space? When are we going to have such an amazing place where so many people can come and be happy and dance and all of that, and we can celebrate? In that moment, when I'm sitting in the frequency of lack, what is my assumption? That if 1 million people celebrate together, it is going to give me more joy. If 1 million people celebrate together with me, it is going to give me more joy. When I look at my life right now, no matter how many people are here, we were 100. We were 100 at Mahashivratri, and we had so much joy. We could feel so much power of masti in every moment of that celebration, that in that moment, because we were not in lack, because we were in abundance, how many people, how much preparation, all out the window. It doesn't matter, because in that moment, the moment of happiness, that happiness is complete because it is joy from within. It is the joy from within, and I'm sitting in it. That question didn't even strike me. Oh, are there 100 or are there only 25? It did not strike me, because if it was 25, I would have the same amount of joy. If it is 1 million, I hope that I will have the same amount of joy. And I say I hope because I remember watching this Shivratri celebration from a few years ago. It was on the web, and it was amazing. People were dancing, people were in a trance, people were enjoying the whole program that was happening. And suddenly the camera zoomed in on Sadhguru, the entire organizer of everything. And Sadhguru was sitting over there watching the whole thing. And you could see that he was sitting in the space of the organizer. So you could see from his face that he had 100 thoughts going through his head as to how this is going to be done, how that is going to be done. When you are the organizer, and it is actually fun because in that moment, I think I was looking again at the whole preparation and the whole amazing energy of that space, and I was enjoying it so much. That question might have come to me again, saying, "Oh, when are we going to have this kind of an amazing celebration with so many people dancing in a trance?" And I still remember Mani showed me the picture, the entire picture, and said, "Would you be one of these people? The people who are dancing. They've not organized anything. They've just come here They're at the place, they're enjoying this beautiful show that Sadhguru has put up for them. And they're really, really in the moment enjoying themselves. And Mani asked me, would you take that spot of the fellow who's dancing, or would you take the spot of the fellow who's organizing? My answer was, at any point in time, I would take the spot of the fellow who's dancing, the fellow who's feeling all of that joy. And that joy when we bring the eyes within. This is the joy of being at a place it is still outside of me. There's nothing wrong with taking joy from the outside. It's beautiful. But when there is no joy on the outside, the fun part, when you are in awareness, the fun part is that you can bring it to yourself. And that's the fun. That's the difference between an unaware and an aware state. Because in unawareness, we got to keep doing things, going here, going there, trying to get joy from all of these adventures that we have on the outside. But when we are sitting in awareness, the adventure is happening at all times within. And the joy is multiplied at each moment, not because outside is so much better, because the starting point is here from within itself. So move to the within, even when you think that outside you don't have anything. Move to the within, move to the frequency of joy. Do things that you enjoy, whether it's painting, whether it's singing, whether it's dancing. All of these things, they don't take money. They don't take money at all. But if you are going to be in the house just dancing by yourself to the music that you enjoy, it's immediately going to put you in the frequency of masti, in the frequency of abundance. That's the play that we get to enjoy, because we understand that everything, lack or abundance, is simply a frequency. Outside what is manifesting, outside if the lack is already manifesting, the lack is manifesting because that's a part of your frequency. That's a part of your frequency. You haven't still been able to shake it out enough. But so what if lack is manifesting? As you let go of your doership, the lack manifests so many times in so many different ways. I've got to do this for this person, this for that person, and I don't have the resources. Or I have the resources, but I'm unable to do this for some reason. And now I will start to experience the lack within me because I'm falling short on time, on resources, on health, on something or the other. When you're already falling short on something, the frequencies of lack. Before you even take an action, before you move out and start to take action, try to remove the lack, try to fulfill. The first thing I would suggest, and has always worked beautifully for me, is to take off the doership, to take off the role where you are the organizer. Because actually, you're not. You're not the organizer of anything. Everybody can only receive whatever their energy has signed up for them. You might be wanting to do something for someone, saying, oh, this is my role and my responsibility, but it's not. The role and responsibility all lies in the energy game and not in the role plays that we do. So the more we sit measuring our happiness from, there are so many people, well, forget others. I talk about myself. There are so many people like me who, in our unawareness, take such a pleasure, take so much of pride and pleasure in wanting to do things for others. In wanting to do things for others. And that's how we measure our happiness. Oh, I was able to help this person. I feel so good about it. I'm so happy about it. It's wonderful that you feel happy when you've done something for the other. But it also means that if your happiness is out based on something that you can do outside, on the day you can't do something outside for somebody, you're going to feel miserable. Again, why? Because this happiness in being able to do something for the other, that charity or that compassionate act of yours for the other is still coming with the eyes on the outside event. As far as the event is outside, it's going to take you through many different cycles of feeling happy and then not being able to do that, and cycles of feeling miserable, feeling so unhappy. The beautiful part of awareness is that when you want to grow your happiness, sure, do something for another, but you can still be happy when you're not doing anything for anyone else. There is nobody that you need to do anything for. If you are sitting with guilt, I can't do this and I can't do that, well, that's the comparison, and that's the guilt, the product of that comparison. Let it be released. Guilt, again, is just a frequency. So the more and more we focus back on our frequency, the more we come back to feeling that state of abundance. That state of abundance, which is all about everything as is in the moment, is perfect. If you understand the perfection of it, it's wonderful. But if you don't understand the perfection of it, simply to go with the idea that it is perfection, even though it's not your perfection. It's not yours. It's the way things were meant to be. You can come around to accepting and allowing. When resources have to come, things happen on the outside. But whether resources come on the outside or not, what am I going to feel about myself, about my life, is my journey. That's the only journey that we have, each of us have. Okay, I put a pause over here. Let's see if anybody has remembered to put anything on the chat. Ooh, empty. Everybody else has also forgotten how to work these webinars. They're only just like a chat. Okay, let Meenal speak only. That doesn't work. Here we are. At the end, anybody has any questions on or experiences that you might want to share, or some part that you've experienced and that I have left out, and maybe you got some guidances about this as well. So does anybody wish to share anything? Nope. Okay then. No questions. Everybody's totally understood everything about the comparison. Comparisons will keep happening every now and then. It's not about. Please tell about doership. Doership. Tell about doership. I'm the doer. It's my responsibility. I have to do this. Otherwise, it won't get done. That space is called doership. If I don't do it, who else will do it? Or I need to do it. It's my role. It's my job. It's my responsibility. That is the place of doership. In a nutshell, that's the place of doership. I already have a full 60-minute or more webinar on doership. And so please go back to one of those and you'll be able to see that. But doership is the opposite of surrender. Doership is I have to do because there is nobody else who will do it. And surrender is I have to watch because whatever has to happen is already happening. So surrender and doership sits on these two concepts, sit on 180 degrees of each other. So when we are sitting in doership, we have the weight, the responsibility on our shoulders. When we are sitting in surrender, it is everything is happening. I am purely a medium and everything is happening as it needs to be. As a medium, what am I going to do? Yeah, I'm going to move. I'm going to move some pawns here to there and play this game. But I'm not responsible for how the game goes. I'm a witness to the game. I am not responsible as to how the game goes. So that is the place of surrender, where you become a witness. The place of doership is where you are the major actor. You are the one that's holding all the pieces together. The more we sit in doership, I have to talk about my life only again, because when I was working as a banker and working with large teams. And, I was handling the marketing of this new organization. And I was the only person who was handling it. And the transactions, the kind of transaction, each transaction was 400 crores, 500 crores. And I was bringing in, 2,000 crores worth of transactions. And then, well, 2,000, 10,000, 14,000, and that's how. And I was the only person. I was the only person that was actually marketing. I was a solitary person handling the entire department. And it was so fun to see, because I was so much the doer that I was in such bad health. I was in such bad health. And it was 31st March coming in. And I was literally, I was collapsing from fatigue and collapsing from tiredness. But this feeling of doership, oh my God, if I won't do, who will do it? So I've got to take, no matter what it is, no matter what the health is like, I've got to take this organization to this place. That is when you take on the responsibility and the role of being whatever, a senior partner, whatever, too seriously. And now that I sit without any responsibility, here it is. It is my responsibility to come every Saturday and give webinars out here. And then for the past 100 weeks, we haven't been here. Firstly, it's my birthday. I'm too busy celebrating, so I don't take on the responsibility of a Saturday webinar. And then I'm traveling. I do not take on the responsibility of a Saturday webinar. And then I'm too unwell. I do not take on the responsibility of a Saturday webinar. So I do not take on the responsibility. And what happens? What happened even in that space? I was very unwell, and I went through that entire space of going through the entire month, delivering whatever was required from me. And then a few months later, or maybe it was a year later, I resigned. Yeah, I resigned because this journey of mine started, and I resigned. And when I resigned, the company carried on. Nobody collapsed. The marketing was done by somebody else. It happened. Nothing said that I was not replaceable. Everybody thought I was not replaceable. But the minute I walked out of that place, there was a replacement out there, and everything continued as usual. So the doership only belonged to me. It didn't belong to anybody else. I could have easily given up that doership and not suffered on my health front. Over here, when I come and talk to you people, it's a role that I'm in. I recognize that I'm in a role of a guide, and it's a role. I'm here today, I'm not here tomorrow. Will the role not be taken up by somebody else? Well, it will be taken up by somebody else, and life will continue as usual. So what's the point in me running after something, being a doer, taking on responsibility when it's of no end use? The responsibility only takes away my masti. And so now I know where to put my focus on. I put my focus on masti. And as the role, if the role is played, it's great. If the role is not played, it's even better. It works out well for all of us. So that's the play of doership, that we sit with so much onus on our shoulders, whether we feel responsible for the organization or we feel responsible for what we call the family as the organization. We feel responsible for, different parts of the family, parents and children and friends and whoever we are feeling responsible for. And that brings us to the place of doership. And when you surrender, what is it that you're doing in surrender? Oh boy, I'm trying to shut this off. Give me a minute. No, phone won't shut off. Okay.
Got it. But first you'll have to unlock your device.
All right, that works. Where was I? It's talking about the responsibilities.
Then surrender, Ma. You were talking about when
Surrender.
you surrender.
Yes. And when you surrender, you actually begin to recognize that all of these people that you were taking responsibility for, all of these, individuals that you're taking responsibility for, they're already taken care of. It's their energy that's already creating. It's okay, just a second. Let's see. Somebody's gone unmute. Okay. They're already taken care of. They already have their energy field that's looking out for them and giving them the experiences that they have asked for. Giving them the experiences. Those experiences you cannot save anyone from. They're their experiences, and you would have gone through them as well. Maybe in this life, maybe in another life. We've all been through all of it. We're all walking the same path, just in different lifetimes, in a few different ways, but all of us are going through same experiences. So when we think that, oh, my daughter is going through such an experience, I want to save her from this experience. She shouldn't be, because this is not right, and she shouldn't have to go through it. Well, if she's chosen that experience, there's not much you can do about it. You can only be aware of the role that you have and then do it unconditionally, without putting conditions on what your daughter's life, what your son's life should look like. You simply carry on with your role. You give love unconditionally. Unconditionally. Whatever your journey is, my job is to give you love. That's where unconditional love to that, and of course, to the self happens. That's how it happens. In doership, so many attachments, so many expectations. So yes, we have an entire webinar on doership, and you can go over there to take a deeper look at what that looks like. But surrender is the easy answer to everything, including doership. Okay, so I think we are done with all the questions and answers. Is that all that we had to do? No more questions? Everybody has understood why not to measure? Sindhu says meditation. Is that your expectation? How about we break it? Okay, so where were we going with this? All right. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Deep breath in and exhale. From me to you, feel the energy of pure calm flowing from me to you. Calm, peaceful, filled with contentment. That's the energy that I'm sitting in, this frequency of meaning. And from me to you, experience this energy flowing from me to you. Experience it in any which way that you want. Maybe as a ray of light, maybe as a shower of water on you. Maybe a big, nice, warm hug from me to you. Whichever way appeals to you, experience this energy of calm, peace, joyfulness. contentment flow to you. I like the hug, so I'm moving ahead with that. So imagine me and you sitting in a beautiful space that's filled with calm, filled with colors, beautiful colors, peaceful, a place where you can sense complete joy within. And you and I are together, sitting in that space right now. You and I. That place could be any place of your choice. For me, it's something that I don't even remember seeing here. A piece of heaven, maybe, but just beautiful colors all around me. Soft colors, bright colors, colors all around me. And then there is you and me. And you and I are just standing there, hugging each other. In this warm, beautiful embrace of the mother and the child. A beautiful embrace of the mother and child. And you are completely lost in that embrace. Feeling so secure, so comfortable, so protected, so much in the moment, filled with joy, no worries, none at all, just calm and an empty space in the mind. That's what you are experiencing as you and I are in that embrace. Nothing is needed, nothing more. No outside worldly possessions can take the space of the joy that you feel right now, of this feeling of fulfillment that you feel right now. Filled with love, your heart is. Filled with joy at receiving so much love from the mother. You couldn't ask for anything more. You are already in the complete state of receiving. The heart is full and the mind is empty. And you feel every inch of your body vibrating with joy. No stress in any part of the body. Feeling so relaxed, so wonderful, so beautiful, so amazing, so calm, so joyous. The only word that describes you in this moment is contented. Feeling the contentment in your bones. Bliss, this happiness, this state of calm. And within this embrace, your eyes are heavy. And knowing that you are fully safe and secure, you gently fall off to sleep in the mother's embrace. Oblivious to the world, your world is complete in this moment. So complete, so beautiful, just you and the mother. Stay in this place of beautiful joy. Stay here as much as you can. And any time that an outside wish tells you that your happiness is not full, it would be more if you got something more, then simply come back to this place, the place of the mother's embrace. And you will find that nothing compares to this. Be in the joy, enjoy. Om Mani, Om Mani, Om Mani. Somebody asks, what is the right definition of surrender? I have a webinar, many webinars actually, couple of them, I think, but they are on surrender. So please go to the channel MPFY Fun and look for the topic of surrender, and you will find the answers. Okay, everyone, lots and lots of love. See you guys. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Love you.
Lots and lots of love. Bye, everybody. Let's take a look at. Okay, all right,
Thank you,
everyone.
me.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Lots and lots of
Thank
Thank
love.
you.
you. Love
Love you.
you, me.
Love you,
Love
Ma.
you.
Lots
Bye.
of
Love you. Love you.
Bye.